All right. As we continue the Super Hulock series, we get one more season into Supernatural. So at this point, we were really just getting into the show. It has kind of found its sea legs by this point, but we were really still very much at the beginning. And we're about to get into the first real storylines and character work Supernatural has so far. So here we go with season 2. We start with all three Winchester boys coming out of a car accident that ended in season 1. Dean is in a coma, Sam is fine, and John is awake. I love Jared Padalecki with my whole heart, but his acting at the beginning of the show is so bad. Anyway, we're back to John being a terrible father, something that is a reoccurring theme in this show. Sam and John get into a screaming match, and of course John is wrong. He's so driven by killing this demon that he doesn't seem to give a shit about his dying son. With that wake-up call from Sam, John sacrificed himself to Yellow Eyes Demon in order to save Dean's life. He's still a bad dad, but we'll get there. Sam is trying to finish what John started. Dean is isolating and trying to fix his car, and then we get to meet Ellen. This is a hugely important episode for setting up what's to come. Also, I love Jo. She's so awesome. She's important. She is important in talking about fridging and this show, but we'll get there too. This is a very emotional episode for the boys as they deal with the aftermath of John's death. Sam is kind of trying to make up for the fact that he always opposed his dad by doing what he thinks his dad would want now after he died. Dean straight up tells him it's too late. So we know Sam is carrying a lot of guilt, whereas Dean doesn't seem to be dealing with his dad's death at all. He wails on the Impala at the end of the episode, and he's just carrying a lot of anger. Sam trying to get Dean to deal with his emotions is really funny because it's obvious Dean isn't dealing, but it's also pretty obvious that Sam is projecting a little bit. Like when they go visit Mary's gravesite and Dean finds something to hunt, Sam thinks it's more about processing his grief. And of course he's wrong. There is actually something to hunt, but it's really clear that neither of these boys really know how to process their grief. Dean is angry and violence seems to be his outlet, and Sam is guilty and avoidance seems to be his. Season 2 is when our Sammy starts having more vivid and aggressive visions. So he's decided to find others like him. When he does, it's clear that Sam is immune to the other kids' mind control. It also gives us a starting off point as far as their ages. Sam at the moment is 22, 23, and we know Dean is about 4 years older than him. Really, this episode tells us that Sam isn't the only one connected to the Yellow-Eyed Demon, and it shows us that Sam is kind of scared of himself and what he could potentially become. And we see Dean's a little scared of that too. That is excellent foreshadowing for not season 3 so much as season 4. As the season continues, we get to see more of Jo when she decides to follow Sam and Dean on a hunt. Her and Dean bond, but more than that, we find out that supposedly John is the reason her dad got killed. And Ellen still blames him, and by extension, the boys a little bit. When dealing with a crossroads demon, the boys learn that their dad is in hell being tortured. Now, this is an excellent foreshadowing for a lot of reasons, the biggest being that the concept of hell becomes more tangible as the series continues, as well as the fact that our Winchester boys become very familiar with hell as a place. And on the next chapter of John Winchester Sucks, Dean tells Sam that John told Dean that he was either going to have to save Sam or kill him. Now, we know that Dean would never, in fact, kill Sam. And the fact that another hunter is after Sam and Dean does everything he can to protect his brother kind of hammers that point home. In episode 14, Sam basically has a blackout moment. Dean finds him and Sammy remembers nothing. Sam is obviously concerned, but Dean just puts his head down and starts investigating. He won't really acknowledge that his brother might be dangerous. Sam basically tells Dean to kill him after realizing that he had killed another hunter. And Dean can't do it. He loves his little brother too much. And that's something we kind of already knew, but it's really important to see that no matter how dangerous Sam gets, Dean will not be the one to end that. very obviously, Sam is possessed by a demon who's trying to kill hunters. So he goes to Bobby, who is too good for his shit. And now we get to the meat of the season, really. The yellow-eyed demon has summoned all the people he infected with his blood to a single location and told them only one can get out alive. We've got a little demon psychic baby battle royale happening. Dean is desperately trying to find his brother, and so starts the trend of the season cliffhanger being one of the boys dying. Yeah, season 1 it was Dean, but a single time doesn't inspire a trend. The second time, however, they even switched which brother was in danger for you. You know, mix it up a little bit. When Sam gets stabbed in the back, Dean has an extremely difficult time dealing with it. He can't let go. He can't move on. Bobby tries to help him, but he knows that there's really nothing he can do. As Dean is working through how to help Sam, we get to see how incredible of an actor Jensen Ackles is. And I will say this every season forever. All of you boys fans that are super late to the fucking party, all I remember after the last season of The Boys was, Jensen Ackles is a really good actor. Who knew Jensen Ackles was a good actor? Us, bitch. For 15 years we watched this show. It's not good. We watched it because Jensen's awesome. He's absolutely incredible in this episode. As Dean has this hard time, he decides to summon a Crossroads demon to save Sam. The gate to hell is opened, and we're about to see some awesomeness from Dean, really for the whole rest of the series. I'm going to say next season, but really the whole rest of the series. The yellow-eyed demon is taunting my Dean, and we get possibly John Winchester's only good parenting moment ever when he attacks from behind, giving Dean enough time to grab the Colt and fire. Then we have a silent and very in front of a green screen interaction between John and his boys that gives them some kind of closure as they see John's soul escape from hell. Now, really what I think the important part of season 2 is, it had a better plot. We moved a little bit more. It had a big bad as well as the serialized episodic feeling to it. But the important part of season 2 was how well it foreshadowed the rest of our series. I believe I read somewhere Eric Kripke originally had this laid out for 5 seasons. Now, they did a really good job of letting us know what was going to happen in season 3 when Dean made the deal for his brother's soul. When they told us John was being tortured, when the Hell's Gates opened, by all lore, if there is a hell, there must be a heaven. So he did a really amazing job of just outlining the next couple of seasons, and I really appreciate that. I think it was really, really well done, and I can't wait to talk to you guys about season 3.